morning, student. My name is Dr. P.P. Pathare. I am working as a head of Department of Zoology, Sri Malika Devi Mahavidyalaya, Neeruj, Taluka Parne, District Ahmedabad. Today, we are starting the online lecture, or it will be also called as online education, due to coronavirus pandemic. Our university, that is Savitribai Phule Pune University, designed applied zoology paper first for the SYBSc as per the choice-based credit system. So let us start the to study or introduction to the syllabus. You know, if you are interested to learning the any subject, before the learning, it is very necessary to understand the objective of particular subject. So our objective of this course is first to understand the basic life cycle of honeybee, beekeeping tools and equipment. Second objective is to learn the managing behavior for the honey production and pollination. To understand the basic information about the fishery, culture and harvesting method of fishes. To understand the fish preservation technique. To understand the biology, variety of silkworm and basic technique of silk production and harvesting of the cocoon. To learn the different silkworm species and their host plant. Last one, that is very important, to study the types of agricultural pests and their damages and major insect pest of agricultural field. That is very important to the our rural area student. Last objective of applied zoology paper first course, that is to study the pest controlling practices. So let us start the first unit of our course, that is unit number first, sericulture. So what is the sericulture? Sericulture is rearing and culturing of silk moth to produce the silk for the commercial purposes. You know, the silk is very important for the human being to making the different textile product. So let us start the first unit, detailed introduction of the syllabus. Introduction to sericulture. In that, we have studied the different types of silk moth and their distribution. You know, the every insect are show the different types of varieties of varieties in their species, and their distribution is very different to as per the species to species. Second most important point is taxonomic position of silk moth. In that, we are taxonomic study the taxonomic position of each and every silk moth. Then to study the varieties of silk product produced in India. Because you know, if the silk moth is showing very various categories, that time we are also known the product of the silk moth is also different. For this purpose, we are taking the first important mulberry silkworm, that is mulberry silkworm, then second Tassar silkworm, third Ira silkworm, Moga silkworm. These are the most important five silk moth generally found in our country. These moth are produce silk very good in quality, and they are also have the very demandable market price value. Second subtopic of this unit, that is external morphology and life cycle of Bombyx mori. This chapter gives the detailed information of morphology of Bombyx mori. Bombyx mori, it is a biological name of mulberry silkworm. After the getting the more and detailed information, we are selected mulberry silkworm, that is Bombyx mori, is suitable for Indian environmental condition to rearing and culturing of this silk moth. So we are take the whole the information of Bombyx mori, in that their detail of life cycle, their morphology and final product. Third subtopic, that is very important. That is cultivation of mulberry. After the selection of mulberry mulberry silk moth, to start the any industrial purpose, it is very necessary to provide the raw material to the particular industry. It is also called as silk industry. So raw material is or basic requirement is to provide the food material to the silk moth. The food material of silk moth is mulberry plant leaves. So it is necessary to study the cultivation method and different types of mulberry plant. In that first sub point, that is variety of mulberry silk moth, then variety of mulberry plant, variety of cultivation. In that we are studying the rain feed and irrigated mulberry cultivation. That is, it will be very benefited to the farmers. So after the study cultivation of mulberry plant, it is necessary to study their requirement, that is fertilizer, schedule of cultivation, then pruning method, then final, that is very important, leaf yield, that is leaf production of mulberry plant. These are the all the points covered in sub point number 3. Next one, that is 1.4. Next sub point, harvesting of mulberry. After getting the information, it is very necessary to harvest our main product. Our main product is mulberry plant. So it is necessary to harvest the mulberry leaves from the mulberry plant from the your farm. First method, that is leaf plucking method. Second method, branch cutting method. Third method, whole shoot cutting method. Out of these three, as per your suitable environment and requirement or availability of equipment, you can select any one of these to harvest the mulberry plant leaves. This chapter is very important for the sericulture, because if you are not getting the proper knowledge about the harvesting of the mulberry plant, it is very difficult to understand the sericulture. Next subtopic, that is silkworm rearing. Silkworm rearing, it is a very important step in sericulture. Rearing is to cultivate the silkworm in your farm and to grow the silk moth in your farm. That is very important for the sericulture. In this chapter, we are studying variety of rearing, what is rearing house, rearing technique, and last one, that is very important diseases and pest of silk moth. This chapter give the actual practical knowledge to the student. What is the sericulture? How to harvest? How to rear? How to culture the silk moth in your farm? This chapter is very important, because without this knowledge, you are unable to complete the sericulture. So, first one, to rearing the variety of silk moth, then what is the rearing house, then what is the technique of rearing that can be applicable for silkworm rearing, and last one, to study the diseases and pest of silk moth. Next one, next subtopic, after the rearing culturing of silk moth, the next topic is very important, that is 1.6, preparation of cocoon for marketing. You know, any product is not directly marketed in any market. So it is necessary to start the preparation of your product. That is cocoon. Cocoon is a ball type silk material that can be produced from the silk moth. So it is necessary to use some technique for the preparing of the cocoon for marketing. Next chapter, that is 1.7, post harvesting process of cocoon. You know, after the harvesting of the cocoon, it is very necessary to store your cocoon to protect your cocoon from the pest, diseases, and any other damages occurred in your cocoon. In that, we are studying some techniques named as stippling, sorting, storage, depolishing, and reeling. Then cocoon cooking, reeling equipment, then reeling, washing, and polishing. These are the most important technique used in post harvesting of cocoon. First one, stippling. Stippling means it is one type of the boiling of the cocoon. Second, storage of the cocoon. After the harvesting of the cocoon, it is necessary to store your cocoon in proper place. For example, away from the any pest and rodents. Then it is always stored in dry, clean place. Then depolishing means it is very simple technique to remove the unwanted masses from the cocoon. For example, during the cocoon reeling, silkworm reel their cocoon in cocoon. That time some unwanted material, that is leaves, part of leaves, uh, debris material of the silkworm is attached to the silk moth because silk moth is sticky in nature. So to remove the unwanted part from the your main product, that is cocoon. Next chapter, that is biotechnological and biomedical application of silk. These are the advanced chapter included in your syllabus to give the another additional benefits or important uses of the silk industry to the student. For this purpose, university added this chapter in your syllabus. Understand? Next unit, our syllabus is mainly divided into two units. That is unit number second, agricultural pest and their control. In that first one, that is 2.1, introduction to agricultural pest and types of agricultural pest. You know, all of you are belong to the farmer family, so it is very necessary to control the agricultural pest and to avoid their interaction in your agricultural farm. For this purpose, university added this chapter. You know, our agricultural farm is mainly affected by the many and large number of the pest in that insect pest, non-insect pest, and other variety of the pest. So we are facing problem, that is losses of the agricultural crop. Second most important chapter, that is major insect pest of agricultural importance. In this chapter, we are studying 5 to 6 most important agricultural insect pests. They are generally affected to the agricultural crop. For example, first one, Jawar stem borer, red cotton bug, brinjal fruit borer, mango stem borer, Bristol beetle, rice weevil, pulse beetle, and tick. After the reading or getting the information regarding this 6 to 7 major agricultural pests, you are understand the Jawar stem borer is very common to the agricultural farm. And you know Jawar is a very important and common crop of our field. Second, red cotton bug. It is also same. You know, cotton is very important crop of our country. So it is necessary to study their main pest named as red cotton bug. Third one, that is common pest of all the vegetable, that is brinjal fruit borer. Next one, mango stem borer, Bristol beetle. Last two ones, that is rice weevil and pulse beetle. These are the stored grain pest. You know, after the harvesting of the agricultural pest, it is very important to study the stored grain pest because you know, after the storage of the any agricultural crop, they are also affected some stored grain pest. For example, rice beetle and pulse beetle. Last one, that is tick. Tick is very common to all the domestic animals. Next one, that is very important, to study the non-insect pest. After the getting the information of insect pest, it is necessary some of the pests are also present in our agricultural farm that is belong to the non-insect category. For example, rat, crab, snail, squirrel. These are the animals. They are also damage to our agricultural crop. So it is necessary to study this non-insect pest. Next chapter, that is 2.4, pest controlling practices. These are the very important chapter for this all the SYBSC student, because after the getting the information of what is the pest, different types of pest, but it is very important how to control the pest. In this chapter, we are studying some methods applied for the pest control. In that, first one, cultural control, physical control, mechanical control, chemical control, biological control, phenomenal control, atocidal control, then concept of IPM in brief. You know, out of this, we are generally use and we are generally focus on only one method, that is chemical control method. But these are the very dangerous to the human being if you are continuously use the chemical pesticide or fertilizers or any other techniques to control the pest in your farm. That will be also show the some side effect of our crop health as well as human health also. So it is necessary to study the detail of any other methods applied in pest control. Last chapter of our syllabus, that is plant protection appliances. In that we are studying some devices useful for the to control the pest by using chemical control method. For this purpose, we are required some devices. For example, rotary type duster, Sinopac sprayer, and Sinogas pump. These three devices is used in our daily pest controlling practices. These are the whole syllabus of SYBSc Applied Zoology paper first. I hope you are enjoying this syllabus in detail and you are getting more and more knowledge of zoology. Thank you.